my view of black people and where we have been and where we're going in life and what we're doing and what we have done, I haven't seen no progress. I only remember from like 75 to like 81 or 82, this particular group of black people that where you seen people so-called moving up in society and people had good jobs and it was just black people thriving to so-called be it.
In 1975, the Los Angeles Times sent reporters into the streets to assess progress in the city's black communities, 10 years after the Watts Rebellion. The fearful live behind protective bars and double locks. High schools are graduating functional illiterates. Some black people have got businesses. Some professionals have gotten into significant jobs. But if you talk about the masses, or that guy who was in trouble in 1965, it is more difficult now. For the black in the ghetto, the goal is survival.
I was born in 1970, so I'm a post Martin Luther King baby. So my generation, is supposed to be seeing some benefit from the civil rights movement and all of these different things. This is what was the projected, outcome for my generation was for us to be, the beneficiaries of this, long, hard fight that ended with Martin Luther King losing his life,
As far as we know, the black community still has no equivalent of the Rockefellers or Vanderbilts. But we do know for sure that the number of affluent blacks in this country is growing. And they're not just entertainers or super athletes, and they no longer live in segregated, closed black societies. Prosperity has brought integration and mobility to the new black upper class, and along with it, questions about its responsibility to other blacks who are left behind. Do you feel a particular responsibility as affluent blacks, a responsibility to reach out to less fortunate blacks?
Part of the things we learned within our family, that as people who had been fortunate, we did have an obligation to make the most of what we had, and if the possibility ever presented itself, certainly to help someone else.
Do you think it's fair, though, to lay that on black families?
I'll be given the choice. I think that we as a people must help each other. And again, I say in whatever way you can. I mean, if you can preach or teach, whatever it takes to do it.
And our primary obligation, and I continue to remind Cornell of this from time to time, are the two black children who are growing up in this home. We have an obligation and a responsibility to them to instill in them the confidence that will enable them to go out and hopefully, in a successful manner, cope with what is out there with the necessary tools to achieve to their highest expectations.
There are a lot of social commentators who are saying that it's really going to be the class differences rather than the racial differences that will determine what happens to blacks. Do you think that's true?
I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way at all, because I think we have a solidarity in our blackness that will always be there as long as race is the preoccupation of this country, and it is. Until all of us have the good homes, the good schools, the jobs that our intellectual ability deserves, then none of us can feel that we have arrived. It's a matter of everybody gets there, or nobody has the right to feel secure in having arrived.